Okay, I'm Andrew Cross and this is Jonathan Wong, and we've created GooseChase, which is an incredibly easy way to create scavenger hunts and then run them for whoever you want to run them for. We usually do a lot of universities, for conferences, and for team building events, and it gets pretty crazy and pretty entertaining really quickly.
I think just the lack of experience, because we just graduated from university and we were in an accelerator kind of residence where they sort of help entrepreneurs start up. So it's just learning everything along the way is pretty difficult.
And the one thing you pick up very quickly is you test the product, and it's one of the things where you test it and when you see people use it, you realize just how important that is. So very early on we built our prototype without really any external feedback, and we got lucky that we got a lot of things correct, but there's quite a few things that we didn't get correct.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So that was a big hurdle that we overcame early on, is just not knowing the real details of how you need to go talk to everybody. And you learn really quickly once you do your first couple events and you see how everybody uses it, and it's very far off from what you expected, and then you adjust and you kind of move it on from there. But originally, it's not at all what you think. It's your perception of it is very different than what people actually accomplish and what they use your thing for. Well, I think that's definitely tripped us up.
Lack of experience.
The other big thing was, for a while we were talking to investors, maybe looking at getting into funding, and that's not something you ever get taught in school, is how to do a good pitch deck. And making that translation from reading a blog article online and then turning your product and then turning that into a pitch deck that's compelling and also big enough, thinking big enough. The first couple pitches I ever did, it was, you think you've got a really big opportunity when you're young and coming out of school, and then they look at this and go, this isn't investable. And then you got to rethink, well, how big can this actually be? And that's when you really have to go back to the drawing board and try to make something that's big and substantial, and it's not something you originally
you don't learn.
You don't think about that. You don't learn about that. So that's one of the things that really tripped us up early.
Also, we came from like a technical background. Like I'm in computers. I graduated with a degree in computer science. Andrew with a mechanical engineering degree. Yeah. But business isn't something we really studied in school for.
So you learn it on the fly, and you trip up a lot, but you do it once and then you learn and you don't do that again. But you still have to trip up quite a few times to learn those experiences. As Jonathan mentioned before, we were in a bit of an incubator accelerator back in Canada, and we have a couple mentors there that have been incredibly helpful for us. One of the most specific things that has helped us is we have no idea on pricing. I know that's one of the big things a lot of startups have to deal with.
Yeah.
So going to somebody and saying, what is the kind of price that you can actually charge and people will pay on their credit card? Nobody really knows those things. So going and having real entrepreneurs that have been there and done that, and having people that you can talk to and ask these questions, it's really, really helpful, and people don't really think about that when they start. We were lucky in that we were assigned a really, really talented mentor, but if we had to go out and get one early on, that's really tough to do. Is you're basically selling your product and yourself just to get a mentor, which it's not one of those things that people talk about too much, and it's very key to your success early on. It's definitely scale right now. With about a week ago, we started rolling out the new version of our product. I mentioned a little bit before that we made a lot of mistakes early on with our product, and we've corrected a lot of those with the most recent product. But now it's the scaling time. We have our product, now we need to go out and sell. And we've been very fortunate to sell our incomplete product. Well, it's still incomplete, it's never a complete product, but we've been very lucky to sell early on with what we had. But now that we have a product that's functional, has the base set of features that people require,
We gotta see how far we can take it.
We gotta push it, we gotta try and sell, we gotta try and grow. Because if we can't do that, then it's time for a pivot. We gotta figure out the path to become that sizable, really scalable company. One of the things that inspires me is when we talk to the people that have participated in our scavenger hunts, it's something that people really appreciate. One of the big reasons I even got into this is I'm addicted to things like Warrior Dash and City Chase, which I love doing the kind of crazy off-the-wall things. And we've actually tailored a lot of our scavenger hunts to be a little bit more on the wild side. It's not go find something next to a tree. It's go into this waxing parlor and see if you can convince them to give you a back wax for free. So it gets pretty wild pretty quickly, and that's probably a direct relation to my kind of need for adrenaline a little bit, and it's worked very well. And when we talk to our users, it's really something that they connect with. We were in a big competition for the biggest BlackBerry blog. We got emails from the people participating, and one of them is still stuck with me to this day. It's a lady who was looking for something fun to do with her father who was in chemotherapy. And she was like, this is probably the best thing that could have happened to us this week. It gave us an incredibly fun, entertaining thing to do for the entire week. And they were just submitting the greatest pictures, they were having a blast. Really and that's one of those things that sticks with you, is it's not just fun, it's not just, it actually means something. It lets people bond with what they're trying to do.
It's seeing people have fun, which is the best part, because you're making an impact on those people. So
it's not something we expected. We expected this to be a fun tool, people go out have fun, move on. But there's a real impact that we can have on people, which is really, really cool for us.
Wanna go first?
Yeah. It's a lot of the things is talking to people who have been there and done that and seeing the passion they have for their product. And even after they've moved on to other projects, they still have that tie-in to their product. In Waterloo, seeing the RIM guys, the RIM co-founders, how many years later, and they're still going crazy on their product? Well, not so much anymore, but seeing them still really passionate about what they do, I want to be that 20 years from now. So building that kind of big company that we can really become something with, it's not so much an individual person, it's the people we've talked to and that real passion that they still show 20, 30 years later. And that's what kind of keeps me going.
Yeah, it's like you want to actually like what you're doing. So having a standard job is sort of, you go to work, you come home, it's like, nah, whatever. But like when you own something and you see other people and how excited they are about their product, like you get excited about yours as well. It's really great.